You ever wonder if a single conversation could just flip a switch and change someone's whole life? Well, for one boy, a kid totally on the edge of ruin, a different way of looking at things was all it took. It turned a life of just petty mischief into this incredible story of honor. So let's get into it. This is the amazing transformation of Tom Slade. Okay, so this one little habit, it pretty much tells you everything you need to know about Tom Slade when we first meet him. You know, his first instinct isn't to talk things out. It's not even to run away. Nope, it's to arm himself. To Tom, the entire world is a threat. And a rock, well, a rock is his go-to answer for everything. All right, so let's set the scene. We're in his hometown, Pinehurst. And Tom's life, it's this grim daily routine of just causing trouble. And it's all fueled by a home life that gives him absolutely nothing. No support, no guidance, just emptiness. And just look at the kind of trouble he gets into. I mean, it's just so petty. This isn't some supervillain origin story, okay? It's just the aimless, daily chaos of a kid who has no idea where he's going. Yanking the trolley pole, scribbling on posters, throwing stuff. It's not about getting anything done, it's just what he does. For him, this is his whole reason for being. And this little detail, man, it just paints such a vivid picture of the poverty he's living in. See, he and his dad, they share one pair of suspenders. That's it. So each of them wears a single strap all the time because they don't even bother to get undressed to sleep. Think about that. That one detail just tells you everything about the neglect, about a world that's literally held together by the barest thread. But then, something happens. A totally random encounter on the street that changes absolutely everything. He meets someone who doesn't see him the way the rest of the world does. And right here, this is the moment his entire world starts to tilt on its axis. Just look at this. The difference is night and day. On one side, you've got what the whole world calls him: hoodlum, liar, thief. But then there's this stranger, Mr. Ellsworth, who happens to be the local scoutmaster, and he sees something totally different. He doesn't judge, he's curious. He calls Tom my boy and even talks to him about being a sport. Now, for a kid who's only ever been called names, it's just mind-blowing, absolutely revolutionary. And here's the genius move from Mr. Ellsworth. He totally reframes the whole stone-throwing thing. He doesn't say, "Oh, that's evil," or "You're a bad kid." No, he says it shows a lack of skill, that it's not what a real sport would do. And that's the first thing that actually gets through to Tom. Why? Because for the very first time, it's not his morals being attacked, it's his pride. So, okay, this new idea plants a seed in Tom's mind. But, it's going to take hitting absolute rock bottom for that seed to actually start to grow. And boy, does he hit bottom. After one of his pranks goes really, really wrong, Tom ends up evicted, arrested, and just completely alone. I mean, this whole sequence of events is just brutal. It all starts with one impulsive act. He throws a stone at his landlord and boom, his entire life unravels in less than a day. But pay attention to what happens during the eviction. An officer disrespects a portrait of his late mother and Tom just explodes. It's a ferocity we haven't seen from him before. Yeah, it's violent, it's a terrible thing to do, but you have to see where it comes from, this deep, protective sense of loyalty. So even after he gets out of jail, Tom is completely lost. He's got no home, his dad is gone. So what does he do? He falls back on the only thing he knows, causing trouble. And this next prank, oh man, it's his masterpiece. It's perfectly designed to ruin a party for a family he can't stand. It's really just his way of lashing out at a world that he feels has totally abandoned him. And this is where he meets a scout named Roy Blakely. So after the quarantine prank, Tom follows Roy up this hill, and his plan is basically to shake him down for some cash. But what happens next is not what he expects at all. Instead of a fight, Roy offers him coffee and something called plum duff. And just like that, he introduces Tom to Camp Solitaire, a place that is the complete, total opposite of everything Tom's life has been so far. And this right here is Tom's first real taste of being, well, a hero. See, Roy doesn't get mad about the prank. He just sees it as a problem that can be solved with scout skills. And suddenly, Tom, the guy who caused all the mischief, becomes a crucial part of the solution. He's there reading the Morse code letters while Roy flashes a searchlight. Think about it. For the first time in his life, he's using his smarts not to cause chaos, but to actually fix it. So this whole rescue mission, it opens a brand new door for him. Tom starts getting pulled into the world of the Scouts. But to officially join, he's got to face the rules of this new world. And there's one law in particular that's going to test him right down to his very core. Okay, this moment right here, it's absolutely pivotal. John Temple, the landlord, shows up and confronts the Scouts, calling Tom a hoodlum and a thief right to his face. But Mr. Ellsworth, wow, he defends him so brilliantly. He basically says Tom's future isn't set in stone. It's a choice. Is he going to stay on the side of mischief, or is he going to choose the side of honor? And here's the kicker. Ellsworth argues that they, the people around him, have the power to help him make that choice. So the time comes. Tom is standing there, ready to take the Scout oath, and he starts reciting the laws. A Scout is trustworthy? Check. Helpful? Check. Friendly? Yep, he's on board with all of them. But then he gets to this line. A Scout is loyal. He is loyal to all to whom loyalty is due. And it goes on to mention his home and parents. And right there, he just freezes. How on earth can he promise to be loyal to the father who let him down so badly? And Mr. Ellsworth, he doesn't just give him some easy throwaway answer. Instead, he offers him empathy. He just gently reminds Tom, there weren't any Boy Scouts when he was a boy, Tom. We must remember that. He's suggesting that Tom's dad never had the same chances, the same kind of guidance. And that single moment of understanding, it's enough. It lets Tom accept a more complex, maybe a more forgiving idea of what loyalty means. And with that, he takes the oath. So there you have it. Tom is officially a Scout. But his new values? They're about to be put to the ultimate test. His old life and his new life are about to collide in, well, the most dramatic way you can imagine. All right, so here's what happens. There's a burglary at the estate of his old enemy, John Temple. But here's the weird part. The thief doesn't take the expensive stuff. They ignore all the valuables and steal just one thing. The class pen belonging to Temple's daughter, Mary. And yep, that's the very same girl whose ball Tom stole way back at the beginning of this story. So while everyone else is running around panicking, what does Tom do? He puts his new Scout training to work. He gets down and examines the ground right outside the window where the burglar got away. And he finds something. A really strange track in the dirt, like a thin, crooked line. He realizes it's a mark left by a little piece of lead that's gotten stuck in the sole of a really worn-out shoe. And in a way, this is it. This is his final exam. It's literally the tracking test he needs to pass to become a second-class Scout. So he starts following that unique trail, deeper and deeper into the woods. You can just imagine his heart pounding. And finally, the tracks lead him to a figure just slumped against a tree. He's done it. He's found the burglar. And in that single instant, what should have been his greatest triumph turns into his greatest test. Because the man who stole the pen, the man he just tracked through the woods, it's his own father, Bill Slade. And he's just pathetic, hungry, a total shadow of the man he once was. And just like that, his Scout duty and his loyalty to his family are crashing right into each other. And you have to understand what's on the line for Tom in this moment. He has $5 saved up. That's it. It's his entire fortune. And that money isn't just money. It's the final piece of the puzzle he needs to become a second-class Scout. It represents everything, his ambition, his progress, all the hard work he's put in. And he gives it all up. He trades his $5, his whole life savings, to get that stolen pin back from his dad. And his reason? It's not just about doing the right thing. It's about empathy. It's because his father is hungry. And it's because after all those years of neglect, he suddenly remembers one single small act of kindness, a time when his dad took him to the circus. So, when you look at it on paper, Tom Slade fails his test. He loses the money he needed to move up in the ranks. He chooses to protect his father instead of turning him in. But that leaves us with a really big question, doesn't it? By sacrificing the symbols of being a good Scout, did he actually achieve the true meaning of it?